I don't have any proof that he got roofied, but wait, you may be wondering how I got myself in this situation. Well, in college, people make bad decisions, and drinking copious amounts of alcohol is usually a bad decision. The British kids are like, "Oi, I nicked a thing of Hennessy." So we're like, let's go. The party's, gonna continue on here. But this time it was something completely out of my control. Accidentally getting roofied is not fun, but how does something like that even happen? So he was like, yeah, sure, I'll take him, and grabs these 2 drinks. So the party goes on. He's just drinking these drinks. The cops ended up showing up. And how did I get back to my apartment 2 miles away? I pull up my phone and I realize my phone's dead. I grab his phone, but it's locked. Fuck, what are we gonna do here? I was pretty drunk, so I wasn't really thinking things through, but I decided the best course of action would be to drag him 2 miles back to my dorm. I'll say this, my game plan was far from ideal, and who could have been behind the whole thing? And then I saw the British kids walk in, and the British kids were like, "Oh mate, we had a great fucking night." Yeah, I'm sure you did. Here's my craziest party story. I mentioned it. It's about being accidentally roofied. It was freshman year of college. We had some British kids that lived across the way from us. And if you guys have ever drank with people from Europe, they drink like fish. Like, they're absolutely crazy. So we went over there to pregame, and whenever you're pregaming with British kids, it's just like, it's not even like a pregame. You just get blackout. So what was happening is I had a buddy who was coming from a different college to visit us, but he hadn't arrived. I was pretty drunk by the time he showed up. He was stone cold sober, basically. We took like a shot before we headed out. We got on the bus and we went to this plaid party. Basically, everyone was dressed like hillbillies, and this was like in the middle of a cornfield. So it was that type of vibe. We start talking to these girls there, and they had gotten drinks from some guys like at the party, and they're like, "Hey, we don't really want these. Like, we're already kind of drunk. Like, do you guys want them?" I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm already fucked up. I pre-gamed with the British kids." But my buddy had just arrived from a different college, so he was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take them," and grabs these 2 drinks. So the party goes on. He's just drinking these drinks. The cops ended up showing up and like breaking up the party. So we get flushed outside. The British kids are like, "Oi, I nicked a thing of Hennessy." So we're like, let's go. The party's, gonna continue on here. And we're passing around this bottle of Hennessy, just taking rips. And I go to hand it to my buddy, who again just showed up. He didn't pregame with us. He just had these drinks at the party. Like, I look over at him, and he's like not there in the face. He kind of just drops to the ground. They were like, "Oh, he can't handle his liquor, 1 drink and done." But I'd known my buddies all throughout high school. We drank a fair bit. So I kind of was like, this isn't like him to be like, take 1 drink and then be out cold. I'm like getting him off the ground, and a car full of like girls pull up, and they're like, "Hey, do you guys want to go? We're going to our house. Do you guys want to come?" The British kids were like, hell yeah. They jumped in the car. I was like, well, I got my buddy, so I couldn't just leave him there. So I was like, no, we're good. So they drive off. The crowd kind of clears from the party because the cops were through and everyone kind of peeled out. So it's just me and my buddy who I'm getting off the ground. I pull up my phone and I realize my phone's dead. I grab his phone, but it's locked. What are we gonna do here? I was pretty drunk, so I wasn't really thinking things through, but I decided the best course of action would be to drag him 2 miles back to my dorm. Also, where I went to school is very heavily against underage drinking. Also decided, instead of pulling him along like the road, I was gonna drag him through the golf course. And I also thought that the golf course would potentially cut down on time. It did in a way. So I had him like alongside of me. Like I was holding him up, but as we were walking through this golf course, it got progressively worse. So I just grabbed him kind of by his arms and just started dragging him. So when I saw a bunker, that was like my opportunity to break. I would drop him in the bunker and just sit there for a second to catch my breath. I ended up losing his shoes through the golf course, which I wasn't really too concerned about. I pull him through the golf course, so that was about a mile, and then we make it to like the campus area where my dorms are. And again, the reason I took the golf course route is because they're very strict on underage drinking in the state I went to college in. There's a lot of like campus police that drive around. I was like looking down the road, and when I saw a cop, I would put him in a bush just to make sure that like the cops didn't see him. The cops would like walk by, and I'd pull him out of the bush. So as well as him him being like dragged through everything, I was stuffing him in bushes, which didn't help either. So I got him to the dorm and I was like exhausted at this point. I like pulled him in and he kind of just collapses on the front mat. Instead of like picking him back up, I was just like done at this point. So I grabbed the mat that he's laying on and just pull it through the hallway. Luckily, no one like the RAs or nobody was out in the hallway. This was like 3 a.m. probably. I get him in my dorm. I shut the door. I go to the toilet and I just puke my brains out. Like, it wasn't that I was drunk. I think it was just exhaust. I think it was like adrenaline maybe and like exhaustion and like the copious amount of alcohol definitely didn't help. And then I just passed out. I just went to sleep. I wake up in the morning. He's on the ground in like rough condition, like scratches, bruises, no shoes. Again, shoes were gone. We went back to the golf course the next day and found one shoe, which was kind of a win, but you need the pair. And then I saw the British kids walk in and the British kids were like, "Oh mate, we had a great fucking night." Yeah, I'm sure you did. He's like, "Man, those girls, they invited us over. We smoked weed and we had a Nerf fight." Yeah, man, that sounds pretty cool. They're like, "How's your buddy? He's probably feeling it this morning." Yeah, he's feeling it pretty bad, man. I think he got roofied. So I don't have any proof that he got roofied, but I'm fairly certain he did.